the life of the party. Thank you, everyone. I'm Amy Chamberlain, chef and owner of the Perfect Wife Restaurant and Tavern in Manchester, Vermont. Here on my show, I often have very good friends, sometimes some food producers, farmers. Tonight, I have my very good friend, Kelly Laliberte. We've been friends for many years, and we've cooked together. We were roommates for a while. And tonight, she's going to show us how to make her award-winning chili and hot sauce. Are you ready, Cal?
I am.
Come on up. Good to see you.
Good to see you too, Amy.
Thank you. So your chili won an award. Tell us about that contest and how it came to be.
Well, I've been making chili for a long time. I had never thought about putting it into a contest, but there was a local contest in a town near me called Moncton, Vermont. I live in Bristol, Vermont, and it was a fundraiser for the community, and I entered my chili out of about 17 lay people doing it, and then there were many restaurateurs that did it as well, and I won first place. And I was looking forward to doing it again, but they decided not to have it, so I'm sure they were scared.
Yes. And let's see your awesome awards that you got.
Oh yes, I did win awards, besides the pat on my back for myself, but I got a beautiful ceramic fish made by Cassandra Cochran, who's an artist up there, and then I also got a homemade cutting board made by actually a gentleman that I graduated from high school with, and has a tap hole in it, and I use it quite often, so they were nice gifts. That hangs in my house, and I use that all the time.
That's really, really neat. That's the difference between Addison County and Bennington County. I've won the chili contest several times, but it's a little, trophy bowl with a little engraving on it. Up there, they've got artists galore, and they're pretty classy. Mm-hmm. So that's awesome. I'm really stoked for you. And yeah, we're gonna learn how to make that chili, and you won't believe how many ingredients are in this chili. The hot sauce too, we're going to make, which has been inspired by a trip to Barbados and a trip to St. John, right? Mm-hmm. This is going to be a fun one, and we're going to try not to asphyxiate you with the habaneros. Mm-hmm. Kelly wanted to put 15 in the recipe. I narrowed it down to 6. So you can maybe put it in your mouth.
It's not bad.
So you're a great home cook too. You've got 2 beautiful daughters and a handsome husband, and you make lots of dinners at home. What kind of stuff do you like to cook at home?
I switch it up all the time. I try not to make the same thing over and over again, but definitely we have the meat and potato people in our family, as well as some that like a little bit of Mexican some of the time, but now that I have 2 daughters, they're starting to help me out quite a bit. I married a man that cannot cook, so, and I knew that. It was not a surprise to me. I knew that when I married him, so it's been okay. But no, we try to switch it up, and it's definitely, I find with children having activities, it's hard. So you have to really think about it and try to find the easiest way to make the healthiest things, and I like to use local products, as well as we have our own garden, and we buy local meats, and which is wonderful.
Yeah, we're using local meat in the chili today.
Correct.
Yeah, and how many tomato plants did you plant last year?
42.
42. And how many are you going to plant this year?
Less.
That's tough. That's always a tough one.
Mm-hmm.
Goodness gracious. Well, are you ready to get cooking and try this stuff?
I can't wait, Amy.
All right,
I love cooking with you.
Well, we're going to have fun. All right, we're going to get to the kitchen and start cooking chili. Here we are, Kel. We're going to make a lot of things.
Yes, we are.
And what we're going to start with is a cocktail.
And yes.
You've made something similar, and I really like this cocktail. I'm not a big tequila drinker, but this makes tequila taste like ambrosia. It is amazing. So let's start that. And while Kelly's making the cocktail, she'll talk about that, and I'm going to start putting some things in my chili pot. We've got the onions and the garlic already sweating in here. I don't want to melt that spoon. So I've already done that. Got it a little bit of brown caramelization on there. And now what I'm going to do is add the dried spices and toast them a little bit. And you can just watch what I'm doing as Kelly's doing that.
Yeah, so I start out with obviously rocks in the glass, and then a tequila of your choice. And we put in a splash of that. Woo, big splash.
Like
We've been working on this all day. and then some fresh lime juice that you squeeze in. Whoops, we can do that first, right?
Yeah.
Lime juice, and it's better with fresh instead of some sort of fake sour mix. Much better flavor.
It's so good because it's fresh lime juice, fresh jalapenos, good tequila.
And then a splash of agave, which is a sweetener of sorts. I mean, I personally would even just use maybe a touch of maple syrup. But this is something that doesn't have a lot of flavor to sweeten it.
Can I have extra agave, please?
Yes. I don't like it with as much. Amy likes it with a little more. I like this citrus. And then we slice fresh jalapenos without taking even the seeds off, and just put a few slices in.
Really, it's delicious.
It's nice and refreshing. It's not too spicy. Not like eating one of the habaneros that we have here.
Yes, and Kelly will eat one of those for you later and show you how much she really does love spicy stuff.
And then you just mix it up, and cheers, Amy.
Oh my goodness. Thank you.
Cheers. And you too can
Simple,
make it at home.
fresh, and delicious.
Here, a few more.
Yeah, spice it up. All right, Kel.
All right, now we're adding.
I'm following Kelly's chili recipe here. We put in chili, cumin, dried oregano to the onions and the garlic.
And we do that before putting in the meat because it helps roast a little bit and cook the spices and gives it more of a smoky flavor than if you were to just add it to the meat after you've started cooking it, which
Yes.
Amy's about to do.
I'm going to add the meat. This is Boyden Farm ground beef, which is right near where Kelly went to college in Johnson. The Boyden Farm is from Cambridge. And right near where Kelly lives in Heinsberg is the Vermont Smoke and Cure sweet Italian sausage and hot Italian sausage. So a bunch of Vermont meat here going in the pot. Howdy do. All right, and while I'm browning that meat, Kelly is going to make this amazing
hot sauce.
hot sauce.
So with the hot sauce, we start out with, I need my cutting board, don't I? Habaneros, which are one of the spicier of the peppers. And with hot peppers, actually, if you keep the seeds in them, they're hotter than if you take the seeds out. The hot sauce that we made earlier, we took the seeds out. With this hot sauce, I'm going to keep the seeds in because I'm going to take this one home with me because I don't mind the spiciness.
Show them, Kelly.
What?
Let's talk about this a little bit.
Oh, yes. This plate here
Let's show the camera.
is whole habaneros that I've taken the seeds out of, and my husband's from Alaska, and a friend of ours is up there and gives us smoked salmon that he makes personally for friends. And I've made it into a cream cheese smoked salmon spread that I've stuffed these peppers with and then roasted them, and then put a little cheese on and then roasted them. And they're very, very good, but they are spicy, and I did take the seeds out of those. But what roasting does to any kind of pepper is it sweetens it. Even the hottest of peppers will get a more sweet flavor if you do roast them.
And if any of you want to try one of those peppers
I
at
can
dinner
even
time,
cut one in
they're
half.
right here. Kelly said she'll cut them in half for you if you don't want to pop a whole one in your mouth, which could be lethal, really. You know.
And so we add habaneros. Also, I like to add another kind of pepper. In this case, we're putting in some jalapenos. I have done it with cayennes or any other peppers that I've grown in the garden. I normally grow habaneros. This past year, I did not. You also add, when you do the first part of the blender process, you add a little bit of white vinegar. And then we'll add the rest of the ingredients. Is it time for this? A little
Yes.
chop mix.
You want to put a little.
And then we'll put a little of the mango.
Careful.
makes it better. And you do get a little whiff up your nose. All right. And I want, and speaking, and we put in some mangoes, and mangoes are an interesting fruit because they, it's not that bad.
She can handle it. Oh my gosh.
There are. So mangoes,
Can any of you feel that?
mangoes have a huge seed in them. They're harder to cut than some fruits. And so the special way to cut them is to, I like to cut off a little of the bottom so you have a sturdy base to work on. And then you basically have to cut around the seed. The seed is a weird shape.
It's like, no, it's like a bar of soap, sort of, like a bar of Dove.
You need to,
This.
I'm not skinning it first, but then you can skin it afterwards. But yes, it is, I'll show you. And it's very slippery too.
Yeah, so that's kind of why cutting it before you peel it is easier.
Yes.
Because if you peel it like what I did today and then try to stand it up and get the mango off, it slides across the counter, onto the floor.
Across the room. So that's how you cut a mango. So then the other things that we add to this special hot sauce are yellow mustard. And I've tried other things other than yellow mustard, and it just did not do the same. So yellow mustard is definitely the way to go. As well as I've talked about maple syrup before, I like maple syrup and things since we live in Vermont. So I do a little maple syrup as well as some brown sugar. And then the spices that are in this are chili powder, curry, and cumin, which is the ending of that. And then you stir it up a little bit more. And that should do that. And we have some of the
salt in there?
Yes, a little salt is good. It pops out some of the flavors. And I always season things with salt and pepper at the end just to make sure that it needs it. Okay, got it. There, so that is finished.
Now I dare you to taste that.
Yes.
Watch, she's gonna actually eat that.
Oh, I'll taste a little bit of it, yes.
There you go.
It's perfect.
Wait for it.
Come on in, taste it.
Okay. Oh my God. Oh my God. It's like getting on a roller coaster.
It's good.
That's awesome.
It is.
It's good. It's good. It's really good. I like it a lot. It's one of those things that you need to have more. You know, it's that one of those spices.
See,
that's
haven't even needed a drink yet.
Okay, speak for yourself. Okay, Kel, look
Yes,
it. I'm
now.
doing a good job
You're
with
ready.
your chili.
Yes, now
So,
you need to add some more things
Yeah,
to
we've
it.
got everything in here. We've
Oh,
got.
would you like me to cut up the chipotle adobo that you haven't put in yet?
Sure, yeah.
So chipotle adobo is jalapenos that have been smoked and then put in an adobo sauce, which is a tomato-based sauce. And this one's whole, and I'm going to chop it up a little bit to put in there. And it's got a smoky flavor that's not too spicy. And some things that are spicy will last. It depends. Some of them last longer than others.
Excuse me.
Go ahead.
I'm moving that. I'm a big believer in keeping your cutting board clear, because a lot of times you're going to cut yourself just because your knife hits something. So I'm saving your fingers.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So the meat's in here, the dried spices are in here, the tomato paste is in here, and now the chipotle is in here. We'll get you all this recipe before you leave. The dried spices were chili, cumin, and oregano. Okay, Kel.
Mustard.
Yeah, Kelly puts mustard in her chili. Maybe
Dijon.
you can win a contest
In this
now.
case, I used Dijon, not yellow.
Is that a good amount?
Yes.
Okay.
Maple syrup again.
Maple syrup.
Yeah.
Because anything with a lot of tomato product is good with a little sweetener. Excuse my fingers. Okay. Then to balance that out,
Lemon juice.
lemon juice. This is a good one.
Coffee.
This is actually coffee.
Beer. We have it
Oh.
all the vices.
Beer.
Only about half a cup.
Okay, half a cup of this, and then we'll drink the rest of it. It's a good thing about this recipe. Half a cup of beer.
And red wine.
And how much red wine?
Half a cup.
Okay, so we can drink the rest of this too. Then you're making your potluck chili and you can't even go to your friend's house after it's done because you're drunk. You come to me.
That's why I have them come to our house.
That's right. I asked Kelly, does she go to a lot of potlucks? Does she have a lot of potlucks? She said, people usually come to my house and I end up doing all the cooking. So
That's okay.
that's
I
okay.
don't
You get to
mind.
open wine and beer. And
Yeah.
okay, what else goes in here now? Cal, should we
need-
just go with the tomatoes now?
Tomatoes and
Okay.
and then the beans.
All right. So this is kind of the Insta version of the chili. Kelly likes to use whole plum tomatoes, but we're using diced tomatoes today because we don't have hours and hours to let it cook down, which reminds me, why do you think your chili won? Tell the story about, the secret.
I actually was a week early on making my chili. I thought the contest was on a certain Sunday, and it was actually the following Sunday. And I like to make my chili ahead, just I think with things like this, stews and chilies, if you let them cook or sit a little longer, the flavor is much better. And I have a refrigerator out in our barn, and I said, Amy, will it last? I actually called my chef friend, and she said, you'll be fine. So I put it in a refrigerator that didn't open, and that chili melded for a whole week.
Not overnight, a whole week.
A whole week, and it won first place. So I have to say that might have been part of it.
I bet those flavors definitely
Yes,
got married in
they
there.
were married together.
Okay, so we're going to put the beans in here
Beans.
now. All right.
It's yummy stuff.
And fresh basil, which is an interesting component. I've never put fresh basil in my chili.
And if I haven't, I've used fresh dill as well if I haven't had fresh basil, but it adds a nice little pop of freshness right at the end, as well as it brightens it up. It adds another level of color to
It's beautiful.
the chili.
Can you see that, Mark? You getting that? My hand's burning.
Hot stuff.
Yeah.
And then I think the garnishes have a lot to do with chili as well and what people like on it. We have avocado and we have chopped onions and grated cheddar cheese and sour cream and black olives.
And that's Plymouth cheddar from Plymouth, Vermont. Very delicious cheddar, which is also on our habaneros.
Yes.
When all is said and done here at dinner time, you're going to have this delicious chili. We've got a little bit here without beans for some of our loved ones who tend to be a little bit pickier about their chili. So we got the word early. Left the beans out of some. We love you.
Yes, we do.
And yeah, you'll be coming up here, getting some chili, putting all these toppings on, cornbread, salad, and a melange of desserts. We also have these roasted peppers. So Kelly, I would like everyone to see, not only can you put a spoonful of that in your mouth and not cough after blending habaneros, but she made this amazing thing. And I urge you, if you can, to try it.
It is good. And this, yes, it's good. I
Can
actually,
you do the whole thing? Mm-hmm. Does anyone have 911 on speed dial?
good.
It's good?
Yes, because the smokiness in the cream cheese, it's just the whole thing. And actually, this came from many, many years ago in the Sugarbush, Mad River Valley area. I lived there for a while. My husband's from there. And there was a great restaurant there for years, and they had a contest every year called Some Like It Hot. And this was one that a friend of mine had made and got first place that year. So it's something that I've remembered how to do, and I get this wonderful smoked salmon, and it's a perfect thing for that.
Yeah. And you used to help bottle hot sauces,
Yes,
right?
I did. I worked for a hot sauce company called Joe B's Hot Sauces for many years. And mashing, that's I think where I am
got your
fine. Yeah, I
tolerance?
got my tolerance for the hot peppers because I just ate that one and I'm feeling just fine.
How many habaneros would you puree or mix up at a time when you work for Joe B?
Oh, 5-gallon buckets.
Can you believe that? It's outrageous.
And we started in a little shack in the middle of nowhere, Moortown, and then he moved up and we worked out of this warehouse that was nice and clean in Waterbury, and we would bottle hot sauces with ladles from a pot into these jars with a funnel. Then we ended up moving up to having machines that actually were able to bottle them for us. So
yeah, they were good.
He's no longer around, and I would love to get his recipes, but we make up our own.
He's around.
I know he is, but
I know where to find him. We'll get his recipes. We'll torture him with that.
Exactly.
And get the other recipes from him.
Very true.
Well, Cal.
Cheers.
I think thanks for showing us how to make this amazing chili with all these crazy ingredients. I think you're all going to really love it. It's lots of fun. And let's just drink and eat and be merry.
That sounds good to me.
Okay.
Thanks for coming.
All right, Cal, let's try this delicious
All right.
award-winning chili of yours.
Many levels.
Many levels. You got the creamy avocado, the spicy. Oh, I forgot to put hot sauce on it.
And Amy and I both discovered recently that we used to hate black olives, but we now like them for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know.
Not sure why that happened, but we never did like them, and now we both do.
Yeah, and it wasn't even our mother saying, you'll eat them and like it. It was like a grown-up thing that just happened.
That's right.
So, Cal, lots of questions come up when we think about your chili. First of all, there's a lot of weird stuff in here. So where'd you get this recipe? How did it come
Well, originally, I was telling Amy earlier that my step-grandfather growing up, my mom's stepfather was a big chili man, and it was very meaty and he always used kidney beans. And it was a chili that I really liked, but it was pretty bland and mild. And then years ago, a friend of mine and I were working at a concert actually for American Flatbread, and we were in charge of dinner that night for the people working with us, and so we made a huge pot of chili that could feed a ton of people. And so this chili came about, but just over the years I added different things to it and experimented. It wasn't like I just came up with all of this at one time. It's just been evolving over many years, and once I did win that competition, I wrote it all down and said, okay, obviously that one worked. And not that I had tried any others, but I figured out of 17 people, and there were some good people judging it. I thought, well, that was pretty good.
So it was judged by a panel and not by the general public.
Correct.
That's cool. That's even better.
And there were restaurants doing it as well as just normal people like myself.
That's awesome. And so you grew 42 tomato plants. What did you do with all those tomatoes?
Well, I made chili.
Yeah, what came first, the chili or the tomatoes?
Yes.
Did you grow the
The
tomatoes to
chili.
make the chili?
Well,
or-
that, yes. And
All right.
then I hadn't done canning in a long time. I actually did quite a bit of canning. I grew a lot of tomatillos and made a lot of salsa with
Green salsa with
And I really
jalapenos.
like green salsa. I actually just ran it out of my last bottle, so I'm definitely looking for tomato season to come here sooner than later.
Next show.
Yes.
You're on tomatillo salsa.
Tomatillo salsa, and I've been doing that for the last few years, and I have neighbors that like to get it from me, and others that like my hot sauce. But there are hotheads out there.
And what if you put too much spice in something? How do you get, like, what if you put way too much hot stuff in here and said, oh crap, I'm the only one that's going to eat this?
Well, that's funny you asked that. Just recently, a friend of mine on Facebook was going, we made this great chili and it's way too hot for any of us in the house. What should I do? And I just chimed in and said, actually, what I found works is, again, maple syrup. And he used it and he was like, you're right. It mellowed it right out. And it does. And you'll find, and I've had it where it's been too hot and I've added maple syrup, and it doesn't get too sweet, but it definitely takes the heat down quite a bit.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
I think we covered it all.
I think so.
All
And
right.
in regards to if eating hot stuff and if you find it's too hot in your mouth, definitely I think milk and bread help. Water doesn't help very often.
Yeah, because you need
Beer.
You need fat to beer,
Beer.
tequila.
Tequila. Then
Yeah,
it
there's
just
a
numbs
reason.
you. You won't notice anymore.
Cerveza and tequila for chili con carne and jalapenos. Yeah, well, we learned a lot today. We learned how to make amazing chili with
Yes.
crazy ingredients. We learned
we
how
had
to make
fun.
a fun cocktail, of which we could make some extra and share it with all of you. That's the beauty of being in the studio audience. Happy to do that. And we're gonna have a delicious dinner.
No, and I'm a realtor, and I got to spend the whole day in the kitchen with Amy today, so it was very enjoyable.
Yeah, I loved having you here. It was so much fun, Kel. It was like old times.
Yes, it
Thank you
was.
so much for coming.
Oh, I'll do it again.
Thanks everyone in the studio audience. Thank you all out there in TV land, and we'll see you all next time on Light Up the Party!
If the moon killed the sun, then you last to see another day. You probably take your chances and sleep it